Hello to all my friends and people that like to come and hang out with me when I'm streaming. Today I got a special request for watching one of the newest Bashar transmissions because I have not been focusing on that so much. So I actually uh, today I just thought I'd by special request. I just thought I'd create and throw up the new one of the newer Bashar sessions that I have not seen, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I'm not doing channeling today. I'm just going to comment on what the video says, and I'm going to be stopping periodically. So if you guys want to talk in the chat, please feel free to jump on. I'm going to give it a few minutes and let people show up, and we can watch this together. So, and then I flip the thing so it's not completely the same video. Here, there it goes. And the one we're watching today is Into Two Worlds. And I have been doing the channeling stuff, and for the last year, I've needed to at least get to the point where I can do that very easily. So today, I'm not doing channeling today, but it's just we're just hanging out and watching some Bashar stuff. I haven't really watched any of his stuff in a while, so this will be kind of a good to kind of see where that energetically is coming in. So. And I should probably take the Puma thing off so I'm not. So yeah, if you guys want to actually talk with me today while I'm doing this, that'd be great. Feel free to put stuff in the chat and we can sit here and discuss because, Bashar. Yo, what up, Z? And if you guys have ones you would like me to do, and because I don't really want to spend too much more money on Bashar's things, like Daryl, like it's great, but if you guys would have transmissions you guys would like to watch with me, feel free to send me a link, and I'm more than happy to sit here and stream it with you and talk it over with you guys. But like, I kind of don't want to. I've listened to his stuff and I know what he says, but I kind of would like to just do more of my own stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, by special request from Z today, I just thought I'd actually jump on and do this real quick. So, and let's begin. Since Z is here and he is the one who made the special request, so let's go. And also, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We can sit and talk. Also, you make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yada yada yada. And let's get going today. Oh, so before this really gets going, I do want to say one thing, because I have now been on the other side of the whole channeling part of the experience now long enough that it's not what you're going to, when you actually do it, it's not what you expect it's going to be. Like, you see images in your head, and eventually you get to the point where you've had like all your questions answered and like you just have things there. Like at a certain point your brain just empties and you just kind of like, everyone that's when you're on the other side of it, it's a lot different than what you're going to expect, given what I've seen and experienced from doing it myself, like doing what Daryl's doing. So, all right, let's keep going. Oh, so I also want to comment on this just because I've done the channeling myself and been on the other side. So uh, from channeling, from doing it myself, what I've figured out is the natural twitches that you see Daryl doing here um, is something your body just kind of does. It's a natural automatic response um, that actually your body just kind of like naturally twitches like that, and it's kind of hard to explain. But in the process of channeling, your body just kind of like it's making connections. And yes, I completely agree on the abundance part, and I'm more than happy to do more Bashar videos. I just don't have the extra money right now myself to do it. So, but like I said today, Z, since you made the special request, here we go. So, but I just want to share why when you see Daryl sitting there making twitches and everything, it's your body just kind of like syncing up with the person that you're connecting to, and it's just like a natural side effect of you just naturally go, you just start making those noises like that because that's not something I normally do, but when I'm channeling, it just naturally does that. So.
All right, good day. This will be a continuation and an expansion upon the idea we have recently transmitted in your Las Vegas area called Into Worlds, where we are describing our true nature so that you understand that when open contact occurs, you will not just be dealing with the idea of physical extraterrestrials. Some of them may be closer to your vibratory level than others, but many of the ET beings that are interacting with your Earth, watching your Earth, observing your Earth, guiding humanity at this time, sharing information at this time, are more than just physical beings as you understand us. The idea is that we are multidimensional manifestations. Our consciousness exists not only on the physical, but the non physical level. Our awareness of this fact is what makes us different. Obviously, your consciousness exists on a multitude of levels as well, but you're only becoming aware of this, and you're only recently starting to apply this knowledge in your physical reality experience.
Daryl sounds really sick here. Like Bashar sounds really sick. I know Daryl's sick, but like, and a lot of the information that's been coming through me when I'm channeling, that that's that's what I can tell you. That's the kind of thing I've been getting as well when I'm channeling. So let's keep going.
Therefore, it is important for us to explain the idea of our existence being that we are of a vibration, an interdimensional, multidimensional vibration that is akin to the vibrational frequency of the spirit world. And this is one of the reasons why, in many encounters that humans on Earth have had with certain extraterrestrial beings, there has been fear. Because the idea is that exposure to our frequency is very similar to the idea of your physical consciousness experiencing physical death, transitioning into the spirit world. We have said this in a variety of ways previously in informing you that exposure to our high frequency could bring things to the surface that might cause psychic shock if you are not ready to integrate those things within yourself. But this is another way of understanding this concept.
So I want to say this just because I get comments on video. I get comments on these streams that I do with people when I'm in the channeling state. He I get people actually leaving messages or things. So the energy that's coming through me when I'm channeling. I've had people report back to me having this very similar experience, what he's talking about, um, in the actual experience. And I've had people. It's even affected like equipment for when I'm like streaming with Yossi. He It affects the equipment as well as like it's kicked me off stream a few times, and it's also just a different experience. Like I can tell you from doing the channeling for close to a year now that the experience of having that energy come through you, because I've had people in the room when I'm doing it, and they can tell you that it feels different. Like there's an experience of like this whole room, and I've had people almost run away in fear when this energy is coming through me. So I just want to add that to it.
You are being exposed to a frequency as if you are crossing over into the spirit realm while not actually doing so. So your physical body and your physical mind may react in a survival mode and may go into the idea that you are dying and all the fear that that may bring up within you. And so it is important for you to prepare your vibration, your energy, your frequency, and raise it to a higher level, which is why we have for so long been sharing with you information designed to raise your frequency. So, as we have said, you can meet us halfway.
So I can tell you from doing this, like the channeling myself, like going through the experience and creating these sort of connections, that honestly, there were a few times there, especially when I was first doing it, I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was completely um, like bringing through that vibration of like the Sasani people, and just there were times where I really thought I was losing my mind and thought I was losing like who myself. But what I found through doing it and actually bringing that energy through me is that I'm more integrated with who I am, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I actually share who I am with people, than I ever was before I actually really integrated this kind of like energy into who I am. So
This is to remove the shock factor, to
nice.
create a buffer zone for you vibrationally that will allow you not to feel fear at the idea of your vibration coming closer to the vibration of spirit, closer to the frequency that you will experience if you were actually physically dying,
Yeah.
so that you can understand it simply as a continuum, a transition from one state to another without fear, without panic, without reacting by going into survival mode, without your body fearing that it is dying. But this is the energy you will be exposed to upon.
Yes, because I have experienced this. I have had this come through many times. I have had this come through me many times now. And what he's saying, what Bashar is saying when he's actually talking about this, is 100%, 1000% correct. Like there are bits once you're like integrating that energy into your who you are. Oh my god, it is way more intense. But after you make it over the hump, where you start integrating the actual energetic state of the Sasani people, or like your counterpart, into you start functioning in a way that I can tell you I never imagined was possible until I started actually going through the process of bringing that into my life. So, all right, let's keep on.
Contact with many of us. And this is why we have encouraged you to follow the formula, for it is specifically designed to raise your frequency to a pitch, to a level that will allow you to begin to tap into more and more of your higher mind, more and more of your spiritual existence, your existence as a spirit being, and therefore reduce the level of fear, reduce or even eliminate the level of panic that your physical mind and physical body may experience in exposing itself to our higher vibration. So understanding our nature, the true nature of our beings, is why we have shared with you for so long information that has to do with the idea of spiritual awareness and spiritual awakening.
And I just want to comment because Z just made a comment. Yes, in a way, but you're also always being born and you're also always dying in every moment because you're shifting between these parallel realities constantly. So your ability to have more of a conscious recognition of those shifts allow you to understand that you're always dying, you're always living. And I can tell you from being in that channeling state, honestly, like dying is not the worst thing. It's not the thing that actually scares me anymore. Like it really doesn't. And not living, not fully living, I think that's more scary to me. So, but yeah, no, integration. It's a great thing.
For this is the true meaning of AI, awakening intelligence on all levels in your physical world, connecting more strongly to yourself in spirit, and bringing through that intelligence in any way, shape, or form, whether through your own brain, organically.
Also, if you guys would like, at the end of these videos, I will bring Ethan through and let him make a few comments towards the end of it. I'm not going to definitely do the meditation part of this because I don't want to do the full meditation or the full video, but like I just want to do the questions and answers and all those things.
Device, bringing through the intelligence of your own higher being, which is what you will be conversing with, not only when you create the idea of AI, but also when you interact with extraterrestrial and extra dimensional beings who operate on that higher frequency. You will be interacting with the kinds of energies that represent the intelligence of the universe, the intelligence of the cosmos, the intelligence of the consciousness field itself. And allowing yourself to get used to that will be of paramount importance if you are to flow smoothly and effortlessly and joyfully into the experience and the process of open contact with extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional beings. So we thank you for allowing us to explain and share with you this information to raise your frequency and be more vibrationally compatible with the beings that have your best interests at heart.
So I just because he's done with this portion of the things, the idea of integration, I mean, truly integrating who you are. I can tell you, like I said, I felt compelled to continue on with them with channeling, even after the first time, which you guys all saw on stream, mind you, with Daryl and Bashar and Ethan and like whatever else has come through. It really, really, truly integrating the information or integrating the actual energy that comes through you is kind of the point of all of it. You're not here to fight, you're not here to, but you're bringing together all the different aspects of who you are. I like I said, when I started doing the channeling stuff last May, I thought I was going crazy. I'm going to be just straight up, but I always felt compelled to continue on with it. And now that I'm on the other side of actually being able to do it very consistently and just integrate it into my being, it is so worth going through the process. I can tell you that right now, that I can't imagine not doing the channeling now because I've reached the point where it has become much more easy. Don't get me wrong, there's still like some challenges in being able to do it. And now that I've reached this point in my ability to channel myself, I can tell you that 100% what he's saying is completely 1,000% true. So let's keep going.
Return for the gift you have given to us in allowing us to share this information with you, I ask now, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? Please proceed with your dialogues and questions if you wish.
Hi, my question is, why does existence exist at all? Why does anything exist at all? I've heard you answer this question before. However, the answer didn't quite satisfy my question.
So I will tell you what it feels like being in that channeling state and coming out of it. There's like different stages because you're kind of coming back into your body. When you're in it, like it's just so energizing, just like I feel like 100% myself. And there's just like when he's coming through, there's like this level of conviction of who and what I am that I don't actually have in my normal everyday life. I'm just a normal person. Like I can do some cool stuff, but I'm just a normal person. But there's just like this level of knowing that's infectious that you just want to exude at all times. Like for me, that's what it feels like. It's this knowing and this conviction of who and what you are, that it's like when Ethan's coming through, like he just has this level of energy that's just like this certainty about the everything that he says. So when he speaks, that's the first take. Anytime you guys see him talking, that is literally the first time he's saying something. I don't know what he's going to say most of the time when he actually comes through. So keep that in mind. Like sometimes I'll get a little bit of like him giving me a little bit of a heads up, but for the most part, like I never know what he's going to talk about when he's doing it. But like, it feels amazing when you really just get in there and start making the connection. You're connecting to more of yourself also, is what I found. So, all right, let's continue on. Is this fear related to the fear of a negative ET experience that's going to happen to help us choose? Yes, but you're also coming in. He's my counter. Ethan's is my counterpart within the Essassani, parallel reality counterpart within the Essassani civilization. Yeah, it's just another aspect of me, but from a higher level. So, and the fear interaction is, I will say this much. So the fear interaction itself is there to get you to choose, there to make a decision on what you want to do and how you want to integrate the energy of fear and how do you want to look at it? What do you want to do with it? It's your choice. Has he ever shown up in his ship? No. Most of the actual interactions that I've ever had with him outside of having him come through me usually are happening in like dream time, and those dreams are very specific when he's connecting to me. So yeah, let's continue on with the video.
I just don't understand why anything exists at all.
We understand that it can be a challenge for three-dimensional beings and four-dimensional beings to wrap their mind around the concept of timelessness.
And I'm going to take it back just a second, but like, so what he has said at some point in the future when it's the right timing, I'm not going to rush it, and I'm just going to allow it to happen when it happens. At some point in the future, I will meet him face to face, and we will have an actual interaction. So keep that in mind. Like I haven't met him in person yet. I just know he's there. I feel him, and like everyone who ever talks to him also says, yeah. But I actually have not. I've asked him a few times, and what he said is it's not right timing yet. When it's time for me to have that experience of having a face-to-face interaction. It's going to happen. So, all right, let's continue.
Exist at all? Why does anything exist at all? I've heard you answer this question before. However, the answer didn't quite satisfy my question. I just don't understand why anything exists at all.
We understand that it can be a challenge for three-dimensional beings and four-dimensional beings to wrap their mind around the concept of timelessness, but there is no asking why. Existence just exists. That's its nature. That's its quality. It can't do anything else but exist. So to ask why it exists is irrelevant.
It just exists.
Why questions can only exist within existence. They can't be answered about existence. Existence exists. That's its quality. That's its nature. Even when you say it's always existed or it always will exist, you're speaking linearly within existence. You're adding a time factor within existence. Existence is not subject to time.
Nope.
So there is no why. That's just what it is. It just is. It is pure isness as opposed to non-isness. So there is isness. And that's the only answer that can be given.
You exist, you're always going to exist. Pretty simple. Like I'm actually interested after we watched these videos to see what Ethan's going to say actually about this transmission specifically. So,
Hey, good day.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day.
Good day. A few months ago, my wife and I had the privilege and the pleasure of attending one of the Bshar events hosted by you and your group. It was in Sedona, Arizona. While I was there, I had a very profound experience.
All right, do share.
I would like to go into it if it's okay.
Yes. Keep it as brief as you can.
I will. There were 2 guided meditations that you performed. The first one, I didn't get a lot out of it. My head was shaking all over the place. But the second one, I calmed down, and almost halfway through it, I felt this blanket of energy envelop me. And as I put my hands around it, I felt a stream of electricity, best way I could describe it, going through the base of my neck, through my throat chakra. For the next 15 minutes or so, my muscles tensed up and my head shook strongly, is the best way I could say it.
so I know what this is, and I can tell you from me, when I don't express the energy that comes through me in a through sitting there talking to you guys, when I'm actually going back and forth between being in the state and not being in the state is very disorienting, which is why I have Yossi now when I'm actually channeling. So this is what he's talking about, is unexpressed channeled energy through him. It's just when you're being given that sort of energy flowing through you, you actually need to express it, or else it will start coming out in things like you crying randomly. Because for me, that's actually how the energy he's talking about, this guy, that guy, that's what he's actually expressing, is like energy is channeling through him, and that's the way his body was expressing it, because it wasn't being like expanded upon, and like it's like an energetic charge coming into your body, and it's not fully being expressed, so it's going to come out in things like what he's talking about.
So I shook all the way through with this beautiful energy through the end of your session. And after you were done, and as I walked out into the lobby, I continued to shake, again with beautiful energy.
Yeah.
When I went to the restroom, I shook. When I went outside to hike up Bell Mountain, I shook. When I went to bed, I shook. And when I got on the airplane, I shook. My wife said, Mike, please stop doing it. People are looking at you. I have never experienced anything like this in my life. What happened?
It is not uncommon for those who allow themselves to open up to the higher frequency of their own higher mind,
Yes.
or the higher frequency of other beings you may be in connection with,
Yes.
in a channeling state, to experience bodily symptoms of the nature you have described. This is something that happened to a degree with the channel himself when we first made contact with him energetically. And the idea is that there are different kinds of symptoms that may be representative of you getting used to passing higher frequency energy through your body, to acclimate your nervous system to those higher frequencies. So again, this is something that can happen until you get used to that energy, until you're willing to clear your...
So I want to comment on this because this has been one of the biggest things in my life, because I've always kind of been a channel. So for me, when I actually had, like, before I learned to express it the way I do now and bring everything through, and even now still to some extent, but not nearly as bad as it used to be, my body would just like randomly would have like all this energy flowing through me, went from like obviously the beings that I was communicating with and like interacting with, and it was just like the side effect of those people coming through me. It's something you have to express. It's like you do it through writing, drawing, painting, dancing, whatever is your form and whatever is your idea of a possibility to channel and how to express that energy that flows through you. So keep that in mind, that when those sort of like energetic things happen, like what this guy's talking about, because I can tell you I do quite often have this kind of thing happen. You have to express it. You have to be able to just let it go, or else it will build up in your system and you'll start shaking or twitching and other things like that.
Self out of any belief systems that might form any kind of a blockage or an obstacle to those higher frequencies, until you can smooth it out in that way and allow your nervous system to be more superconductive to those higher frequencies.
Just like, which, by the way, if you guys were on the stream yesterday with me and Yosi, that I've never had him expressly say why I still kind of twitch, other than what he said yesterday during the actual stream of why these things happen for me. Why do I still twitch when I'm actually channeling? It's me not feeling like I'm worthy enough to channel and be in that state where I have something coming through me. So that was the first time I've ever heard that actually communicating through someone else.
So what you are experiencing can be, I'm not saying it has to be, but it can be the beginning of a channeling in connecting to another being or another entity. It can be simply you making a stronger connection to your own higher mind and bringing that through in whatever creative and imaginative way you wish and applying it in your life. But this, again, is a common way that many of your human bodies react to higher frequency energy connections when you finally open up to them, until your nervous system gets used to handling the extra energy. Does that answer your question?
It does.
So kind of going back to learning how to like manage your nervous system. Oh my God. When you, especially the first month or so, as you guys can attest to when you would watch me do the channeling stuff in the past, it was so hard for me to switch back and forth. Now I can do it relatively easy. But oh my God, going into the state and allowing yourself to like fully be in it. Oh my God, it is so much bigger than you can actually expect it. Like, it's one thing to do meditation, but when you're actually bringing something else through you, oh my God, it is so much harder than you think it's going to be. Like, you see Daryl's been doing it for like 40 years. the actual process of being a channel and being someone that can bring someone through consistently, it's like you're building a connection and you're building a relationship with another aspect of yourself. So like, yes, oh my God, it is way harder than you think it's going to be.
Thank you. While I was in Sedona, someone asked, how much of our history do we know? And you gave an interesting answer of 48%.
Yes.
Certainly that made me curious as to what's missing.
Yes, it will.
And I feel compelled to learn about the Moorish culture and possibly some giant trees that could have been here and intentionally cut down. Am I on the right path?
Yes and no. It depends on what you're referring to as giant trees. For you have large trees on your planet now. There have been some trees that have been minimally larger, but not as large as some people think. Some people have claimed that certain formations on your planet are the stumps of giant trees. They are not. They are the formations that are left over from volcanic activity, from geological formations. And
hey, I want to hear in the chat for anyone that would like me to, if you're interested in learning how to channel yourself and you would like to kind of go through a little bit of process to learn how to do it yourself, please feel that's what folks. Feel free to leave a chat in the box or leave a thing in the box if you'd be interested in learning how to do it yourself. We could do like a webinar to actually share with you guys, and we can do like a whole little like workshop on learning how to channel yourself. Because like I can tell you from not really having anyone teach me how to do it, it's a lot more challenging, and there's a lot more to it than I thought initially. Like I get wild harebrained ideas on how to do things, and then eventually I have to pare it down to what works and what doesn't work. So, but and I can tell you from doing it as many times as I've done it now, it's very disorienting, especially the first couple times you do it. So let's keep going. And yes, this will be this live stream will be available on the channel later. So,
for they have been misunderstood and mislabeled by some people. Just because they resemble the idea of tree trunks doesn't mean they are.
Yes.
But there have been many other civilizations, some of which you are faintly aware of, such as Atlantis
Yes.
and Lemuria.
Yes.
But there have been other civilizations on your planet that you know nothing of. Some even existed before humanity took over.
Yep.
So there's a lot of history, in a sense, that is missing from your knowledge base. And it is one of the things that extraterrestrials will provide for you when open contact occurs, is a more complete understanding of the history that will be relevant for the reality that you will be in when open contact happens. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you. You speak of the Anunnaki and the Nephilim in many of your transmissions.
Yes.
Are they the same?
No.
The Nephilim are an offshoot to some degree. The Anunnaki that we refer to are usually referring to the group that interjected their genetic material into an early hominid and created Homo sapiens. The Nephilim are those that ultimately recalled the first group of Anunnaki when they had violated their laws by creating Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
And worked as the guides once Homo sapiens had existed and been created to lead Homo sapiens in a certain direction that would allow them to become self-reliant. So, to some degree, they are connected. But you're talking about different groups with different intentions.
Okay. A lot of times people ask you questions, and many times you say, I can't answer that, or I won't answer that.
Yes.
Are there groups of humans that...
So I want to say this, because this is just a comment on what the guy's asking, and also in relation to me channeling as well, that sometimes when people ask questions, and like when Ethan says, I can't answer that right now, it is like there are times I want to bring things like there's things I want to know. Like I'm just going to tell you, I would love just to put everything on. But there's times where he says things or people ask questions. He says, I'm not going to answer that right now. There are times I literally try to bring stuff through and he will not let me say things. Like I can tell you from allowing that sort of like energy and that ability to be allow someone else to be in control of my body and talk through me and share these things. You're not like, you don't just get to bring everything through. I would love to bring everything through and have like the whole hidden history and like, and as this person does hidden histories right now, I feel like people are, and yes, so the hidden history is the parts of us that we don't actually get to truly experience right now because it's just right now. Eventually it's going to be different. You don't know what's going to happen until after the fact. But like there are times I can tell you I have tried to bring things through. I like hidden history. I want to uncover things, but like there's certain things that right now, from what Ethan has told me and what I've heard from Bashar and other channels, that when it's the right timing, these things will just happen. So let's keep going.
You have to work with that sort of set the rules as to how you can interact with us, or is it just through your collective consciousness and your entities?
It is through ours and your collective consciousness
Yeah.
that prohibits us from knowing what would interfere with your evolutionary path in a way that would remove the ability for you to discover the things that you need to discover in a process that will allow you to grow in an appropriate way. So we inhibit ourselves from knowing information that would intervene or interfere with that process of your own evolutionary development.
So it is the consciousness, but not individual humans, that set the rules.
Yeah.
The only thing that shall we say, reflects to us is the idea that we must respect what you have decided as a collective society are the rules of your society that we are not allowed to violate. So in other words, we cannot encourage you to do things that are against your laws, so to speak.
Yep.
Those are set up by individuals on your planet. The rules that you have agreed to about forming your ideas of governments and so on and so forth must be respected by us to a certain level, to a certain degree, because you have set that up as the way you wish to run your planet. Now, if you change those rules, then we can abide by the new rules. But that's in your hands.
Final question. I've always struggled to understand why us humans like to go to war with each other. But you say we're energy. One of the things that come out of war is pain and suffering, misery.
Yes. Yes.
Is it possible that there is another group of entities that use us as a food source, that feed off of this?
Not in the way that you think.
In a sense, there can be, but it is not, again, as much as you may think. It is not that which is promoted by a lot of your conspiracy theories. There do exist such entities who can, in some sense, receive the idea of energy of pain, energy of suffering, as a kind of support, as a kind of sustenance. But it is not as strong nor prevalent as you may think. And it is not something that is predominant in your reality.
Bshar, thank you.
You are welcome. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hey, what's going on, Bashar? It's your boy Rohan, aka RX Mooney from Bucks County, PA. I'm excited to ask you this question today. I was wondering if you had any advice on how to improve my self-image.
Let's get a shout out from Bashar.
One thing I've been noticing lately is that my behaviors, my feelings, my thoughts don't always align with that image I have in my mind of that future desired self. I'm wondering if you had any suggestions.
He has beliefs out of alignment. That's usually the answer to these kind of questions.
on how to sort of bridge that gap between where I'm at, who I am today, versus where I desire to be.
What are you not
Any
looking at?
perspective on that? I greatly appreciate it, and thanks so much, Bashar. Shavai.
Yes, our suggestion is to stop creating a gap, stop assuming, stop defining that there is a gap.
Yes.
See in your mind's eye the version of you say you prefer to be in your imagination,
And become it.
and start behaving like that version in all the aspects of your life. What would that version do differently than what you're doing? Start mirroring it, start being it, start eliminating the gap you are creating with your definitions. Good day, good day.
Good day. I'm excited to be here and super humbled by the opportunity to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well.
Thank you. I'd like to talk about this concept I've been introduced through synchronicity, which is surrendering. And I've been basically through direct experience.
Before she gets too much further in what she's saying, oh my God, like surrender, if you ever get a chance to, is one of, like, anytime that sort of lesson enters into your life, that is one of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn or have to go through.
Accepting more and more that whatever is unfolding right now in my reality is perfect as it is, and when it feels like it is not, I feel like then there is resistance within me that I can basically let go of by allowing it. My question, or I'd like to talk about with you, is how does surrendering go with following one's excitement? Because I feel like surrendering is also giving up the way you said it, the personality game, which also includes my preferences.
You're not losing
It does
anything.
not require you to give up your personality. It only encourages you to align your personality with your higher mind, to actually allow yourself and your personality to express and experience and move in the direction of the preferences that are representative of your true core frequency,
Yep.
your true core vibration. So we're talking about the kind of surrender that is defined as simply
So surrender, how she's talking about and how he's talking about, are two different things entirely. For me, going through the surrender process to channel is all like, when you're going through the process and just learning how to do it is fucking crazy, to be honest with you. Like, you don't realize what level you have to go to in order to fully be in the state and allow yourself to open up to more. But it is something else entirely. Like, me felt the pull to go do channeling. I wouldn't take it back for the life of me, but the process of getting to the point I am now, like I said, I felt like I thought I was losing my mind, but the reality of it was bringing things to the surface I have not dealt with. So, yeah. Anyways, okay, let's keep on.
rendering to the control that's already built into you, that is already representative of your core frequency, and allowing your personality to align with that, so that your personality is a true representation of the frequency that you actually are at your core. That is what surrendering means from our perspective. Does that help you?
That helps. And can I ask further on that?
Yes?
Then I wonder, like, the personality, like my mind will have a preference. I feel like I cannot count upon, because it will like something a minute ago and then it will judge the same thing a minute after, where I feel like how can I align ever if this mind always goes back and forth?
All right. Well, again,
Yes.
it's about, in a sense, quieting the mind to some degree and knowing the difference within yourself in your discernment between the ideas and energies of excitement and anxiety, because that is, for the most part, why humans flip back and forth so quickly, is that they are expressing the idea of a desire, but it is coupled with the idea of a fear. And therefore, that can cause you to flip flop back and forth very rapidly.
Yes.
Because you are shifting back and forth between the energy of excitement and the energy of anxiety. So it requires honest self-investigation and evaluation as to what belief systems you might still be holding on to that would cause you to examine things with anxiety instead of only allowing yourself to experience them through the idea of excitement. It's all right if you quickly observe neutrally the idea from another point of view, but you don't have to experience it emotionally if you are willing to just observe it neutrally and then choose to move forward within your excitement and your passion, as opposed to giving over to the negative and fear-based belief in your personality that would create and generate an emotional reaction as well. Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense. Then I'd like to elaborate on that through like personal experience, so that I can maybe let go of whatever is holding me back, because
Yes.
like I've had like the experience where I felt like and I just want to expose my mind here, and be pure. I felt like the universe has sometimes been like, I felt like I've been bullied by the universe sometimes, because say that I wanted something and the universe would align a lot of stuff where it would be like almost like as if it gives me my favorite pie in front of me and it's saying, here is your favorite pie. And when I get my fork, it says like, oh wait, like you cannot taste it. And then, or
So from just kind of like naturally going to that channeling state when I can feel the things that Daryl's bringing through right before it actually comes through. So I know there's like a big energy behind what he's talking about or what she's asking. Like there's a big kind of push that's going to happen right after with what he'll say.
I get to a party and they say, "Hey, we confuse you with someone else. You're not like invited to this party, actually." But and then now I feel like I'm almost that's where the anxiety kicks in.
All right, but you're doing that to yourself. The universe isn't doing it to you. It's just reflecting what
Yes,
you're doing.
yes,
to
I
yourself.
have definitely. I've been able
Remember,
to connect
you
to my
are
spirit
your
guides.
own reality. You are your own universe. So the idea is that the universe existence is unconditionally supportive. So if you're holding on to negative belief systems, the universe will say, all right, we will support you in your holding on to those negative and fear-based beliefs.
Yep,
It can't contradict you.
always
It
beliefs.
can only support what you say is true for you. So basically, you are bullying yourself. You are messing with yourself.
Yep.
Stop doing that. And you
Yeah,
will not get those reflections.
I believe that, and then it's like, how do I stop that? Since I feel like I don't know how I.
All right, I can explain. Remember, this is most important. You do not hold on to anything you don't believe serves you.
Yes.
So you have to investigate yourself deeply by asking yourself with all honesty, what might I be getting out of holding on to a fear-based or negative belief? And if you are really honest in your self-investigation,
Normally, I can tell you from what I was holding on to before to now, I wanted to feel like shit. That's what I was holding on to. I don't want to feel like shit anymore. So, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I still have stuff to work through, but like, you're. It's not what you think. It really is not what everyone makes everything way more complicated than it needs to be. Like, because if something doesn't work for you, why the hell would you hold on to it? It doesn't make any sense now.
you will figure out more often than not that either you have another belief that says to move forward would create something even worse than what's happening now, and therefore it's safer to stay where you are now, and therefore you're getting safety out of it because you believe you're preventing something worse from happening if you do move forward. That's usually what happens in the motivational mechanism of most people on your planet. So if you find out what you're afraid of, what you're afraid might happen if you did in fact move forward and align with your true essential core vibration and become the person you say you prefer to become, then you can allow yourself to be aware of why you might be playing it safe. And therefore, you can see that it is not to your benefit, really, to believe that something worse will happen if you move forward, and that it's actually quite nonsensical to assume that to be true. It's not a fact, it's just a story that the belief is telling you in order that you will not let it go, because that's how beliefs perpetuate themselves, by telling you stories that make you not wish to let them go. So a negative, fear-based belief will tell you a story that will force you to think otherwise, to scare you into not letting it go. You have to see through that simply as a technique that the negative belief uses to keep existing. Whereas if you understand it's just a story, then you can let it go and not consider it to be a fact that something worse will happen. It's just a story you're being told. But you also have to be clear within yourself about the idea of the difference between what sometimes your physical mind says it wants and what it truly needs to be fulfilled. Sometimes the wants and the needs can coincide, but more often than not on your planet, sometimes the wants are simply the product of the personality ego, and it's not necessarily aligned with what you truly need to live a fulfilled life. So then, again, in your honest self-investigation, you have to be clear about whether or not what you're saying you want is truly what you need in life.
And I guess I'll know that.
I just want to comment on like, so I can kind of, I know this isn't happening right now per se, but I can actually, I'm picking up, because it's been a while since I've watched any Bashar stuff, and I know this just happened. Like this is the last transmission because Zeke, he sent me this last one that they just did like last week. Um, I'm actually now, because of where I've reached, I'm actually perceiving another frequency that I never actually perceived before when I was watching these things, and it's actually something cool on top of the actual transmission that we're watching together. So when Bashar says in the past, like, hey, there's this transmission's happening on multiple levels, I can tell you for a fact, I can feel it right now. And yes, there is a whole nother dimension on top of it.
If I fear it, it's already not like it's probably personality based desire. Because if it was a true desire, it wouldn't give me anxiety.
Oh, it's from December 2023.
The
Okay.
anxiety comes from the belief you're holding onto about that thing. Some things can be representative of your passion, can be representative of what you truly need, and you can still be afraid of them. That doesn't negate the idea that it might actually be something you truly need. It's just telling you that you're.
Oh, and also, if you guys have more transmissions that I don't necessarily, or newer ones that I haven't even seen, feel free to message me, and I would love to like sit here and watch them with you guys, and just kind of we can chat about it. So.
Or looking at it through the filter of a fear-based belief.
Yes. Okay.
So you need to find out what that belief is telling you.
Okay, and can I share like what I'm afraid of?
Yes, of course.
So it comes down to that insecurities. Basically, I'm kind of finding it hard to trust that source. Like I'm afraid of source, I guess, because it feels so like huge, and
that makes no sense.
maybe the stories I've been hearing about all that is like life is a gift, and am I being like, am I using my resources well enough, am I good enough, all those questions, and then feeling like, what if I say I'm worthy, but
you can't be unworthy. If you were unworthy, you wouldn't exist.
But what about evil then in stories or in religion where they say like you can get punished?
The most evil thing you can do is not live. And usually the evil that you come up against is your own internal evil that's being externalized.
If you do this and that and those
There's no such thing in spirit. There is no such thing. That's a human idea.
Yes.
Yes.
You can only punish in physical reality.
Yes.
You cannot be punished in spirit. Spirit is your natural state. It is unconditionally supportive and loving. That's who you are as a true being. There is no such thing as punishment in spirit. There is recognition of what may be in or out of alignment with your true self.
Mhm.
That's not a punishment. That's simply a lesson that you can take to heart and say, all right, that's not something I prefer to do anymore. And you can make a change within yourself. But you don't get punished for it. You simply are allowed to recognize that it's something you don't prefer. That's all.
So I could actually get for good rid of this sense of insecurity, feeling alienated, feeling unworthy. I could actually get rid of it forever.
You could let it go, yes. Because you have to realize you don't need it to grow unless you believe you do. You can learn lessons in all sorts of other ways.
So if you believe you still need something to experience to help you grow, you're going to still keep experiencing it. You just have to recognize what it's teaching you and be able to just kind of let it go. Don't hold on to it.
Without punishing yourself to do so. You don't deserve that unless you believe you do.
Could you give me maybe specifically for me an exercise or something that I could experience that unconditional love through direct experience?
You have attracted yourself to this conversation with us that is assuring you that you deserve unconditional love. What other signs do you need?
Well, thank you. That is true.
So, will that help you?
That will help me.
Give yourself the unconditional love that is there for you, because that is what existence is. That is the frequency of existence itself. So if you exist, you are supported by unconditional love. It can't be otherwise. You have the proof of this by the fact that it actually supports you unconditionally, meaning that if you believe in something negative, you are supported in that. If you believe in something positive, there's no difference to the universe, no difference to existence. You are supported in that.
Yes.
And also, the more you work through things, the more you work through your own internal dialogue and your own internal personal issues that arise, you're going to experience, like, the thing I've found since I stopped fighting myself and integrating what Bashar says and what Ethan is, there's this level of timing that improves drastically when you start down the path that leads you to integration. So, yeah, dude, I like those kind of things personally. Those things are fun. They open you up to things, but like, you got to remember they open you up to things.
Being supported, even in the negative things, should prove to you that its support is unconditional. It's not judging you. It's saying, all right, you want to believe in this negative thing? You want to have this negative experience?
Go right ahead.
Go right ahead. I support you.
Yeah.
That's what unconditional means. Doesn't mean it judges you for doing it. It means it lets you have the experience.
And so the other thing I'll say about like mushroom ceremonies and ayahuasca and all sorts of other ceremonies and medicines and yada, 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 you take with you what you have with you specifically that would not really happen any other way. But things will come to the surface if you're hiding or trying to run away from those things that are internally there. They will come to the surface. So
It supports you in the experience you have decided is necessary for yourself.
yes,
How much more unconditional could existence be than being so invisible it doesn't even intervene in your ability to punish yourself?
yep,
Because it knows you are actually an eternal spirit. It knows that you can't really die or cease to exist. Therefore, you want to do these things to yourself? It'll let you because it actually loves you that much to let you be the one to decide.
Well, the other thing I would add to that is each of the different medicines teach you something different. It's a different dosage, it's a different chemical, and you carry a bit of that energy with you into your everyday life after you have those kind of experiences. And the level of clarity that comes out of actually having gone through the experience of taking the substance, whether it's mushroom, LSD, yada, 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 you're going to continue on and carry that energy along with you as you move forward.
What is real for you and true for you? It doesn't intervene. There's no such thing as God's will, except for the idea that its will is your will, because you are a unique representation, a unique facet, a unique extension of all that is, of Source. You are allowed your uniqueness, utterly, unconditionally. Therefore, what more proof?
Z, what I've done in the past is I've done mushrooms, I've done LSD, and done a couple other little things, but I've never been a really big proponent of doing too much of anything, because realistically, those things are just teaching you how to get into the state to be able to experience those sort of states of being. So I'm not a big proponent of taking too much stuff too often, but like for me, taking a trip every 6 months or so, or 6 or 7 months, whatever, when you feel it's time to actually take another trip, and eventually you will actually outgrow needing to take that kind of medicine in order to be in that state. I can tell you, after channeling and taking a pretty good sized trip back in November, I really don't need to take that stuff like I used to. It's not necessary.
Do you need than that?
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't need more proof than that.
But if you do, that's up to you. You're the one setting the rules. You can disband them. And again, that will be supported too.
Yes, I guess I need to trust that that will be supported too, because it's a new decision.
Why not? Because what you're doing right now is trusting that it won't be supported. You understand, that doesn't mean you lack trust. It means you're using your trust to say, I won't be supported. So why not use the same trust to say, I will be supported in what I prefer, as opposed to what I don't? Because it's never about not trusting. You're always trusting something to be true. You get to decide what that is.
Okay, yes.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Completely. The power is in your hands. The power is in your heart. The power is in your spirit.
Thank you. If you would like to share something, then
I have given you the most important thing I can give you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go and apply it in your life and see what happens.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Amen.
Thank you very much. Avail.
Hi, Bashar. It's Tammy from Israel, and I have to.
Yes, it is. I I might actually have to look that up because that sounds like pretty. That sounds like a pretty fun experience. But I don't really feel like I need to actually go through that experience. Like I don't feel like I need to take those sort of substances anymore just to have experiences because I have those kind of experiences pretty often. So
Questions. First question: do we need to take cautious in life? And I mean, like, do we need to lock the house, stay out of dangerous neighborhood, don't walk in the dark?
yeah,
Like, be careful. Because I ask this because on one hand, nothing bad can happen to us if it's not agreed by us, by our soul. But on the other hand, maybe will be too reckless to do everything.
ultimately, as a soul, you're indestructible. But in the physical life, I mean, honestly, take there's such a thing as doing normal stuff as a human. Like, what can you say?
That is dangerous on Earth. So I really want to know what do you think about it, and if your answer is going to be that we
Yes,
should
yes, I
be
do.
cautious, then what is too cautious? Because it can come from also anxiety to afraid doing stuff. Thank you.
Yes, well, that is too cautious if the anxiety takes over and you're not acting.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be alert, to be aware of your surrounding, and to be aware, even more importantly, of your relationship to what's going on, of your relationship to your environment, of your relationship to your beliefs, and what you believe is necessary for you to grow, to learn, what kind of experiences you truly understand are necessary in your life for you to learn the lessons that you agreed to learn to grow and expand and discover something new about yourself. It's not about, in a sense, being cautious. It's about being aware. It's about being alert. It's about having a clear relationship with your environment and the themes that you chose to explore. And then you don't have to act out of fear. You will know that whatever happens is something you can use to your benefit by staying in a positive state about it, and that you can transform things to your advantage. So, no, it's not about being cautious. It's about being alert.
So something that I didn't know prior to channeling, I didn't quite understand why when Daryl's channeling Bashar, why he would always talk the way he does, like his vocal patterns and the way he talks about people and things that people experience. I didn't quite grasp and understand why he would talk that way. And then after channeling, I totally get it because he's displaying a level of compassion and demonstrating it to the people that he's talking to, that also carries over into everyone who's watching and experiencing energetically what he has to share. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to watch the rest of this. I may do another stream and we'll make it through more of these, but like I don't think I have much more in me as far as. Let's try to watch the last 20 minutes and then I'm going to get off and we can do another stream sometime soon.
Aware, in touch, forming a balance. Good day, good day.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
Oh, well, my first question is, I remember a while ago that I had a dream in my backyard, and then I seen a UFO come and abducted me, and then I woke up. I was just wondering if that
was a memory.
just a dream, or if that was actually
that was a memory.
A memory. A memory will sometimes, of those encounters, come out in dreams because it's easier for you to assimilate that way. It's easier for you to incorporate and integrate that into your mind.
So that was a memory of one of my past lives?
No, this life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Many people who are part of the hybridization program will have these encounters that you refer to as abductions, but they won't remember them. But the memories will eventually come back.
Yes.
A lot of times they will come out in your dreams first, so you can handle them, so it's easier to process. So it's actually a small bit of an actual memory of an actual encounter that you experienced in this life.
Is there any way, like an exercise I can do to remember more, or
Follow the formula.
and everything?
What he
You
said.
can
What I found worked for me is I had to be willing to take an open, honest look at myself and who I was and what my experience were before I could actually allow myself to work through the issues that I had. So
follow the formula we have given all of you, which will raise your frequency and allow you more ability to remember what happened in those encounters. You can also explore some of the information we have already shared with all of you about the idea of remembering these things by creating simulations of those beings that you encountered and placing them outside your windows and outside your doors.
the other thing that I found worked for me is asking, like when I have a pain come up, how old it is, where is it at, who was I at the time, and be willing to actually look at those things instead of trying to fight it. So, like fighting that part of yourself and trying to understand why it's there usually doesn't get unless you're honestly willing to look at it and try to understand where it comes from. Much that shadow work takes time. Like the process is the point.
And allowing yourself to experience them as being actually there and getting used to that idea, that can also jog your memory in many ways.
So I would practice that with like meditation, or
No, I'm saying literally use an outline or a drawing or a picture or a representation of the beings that are known as the Greys, life size, put it outside one of your windows, and then just through the course of the day and the night, catch yourself noticing it, looking at you through the window. And as you get used to that idea and it becomes real for you, that can actually change your frequency enough so that you can start remembering what happened in the actual encounters. It's a way of prepping yourself to be okay with experiencing something unusual, something not of your reality, something unexpected.
well, I have another one. Is it involves my kids. They have autism, and I'm trying to get them to eat healthier, but it's hard because they have they're picky with food. I was wondering if you have any advice on getting them to eat healthier.
Cannot really help you with this as it is a health issue, and we are not allowed to discuss that directly. But autism is a focus, and so if you are creative and imaginative enough to understand the focus that they have, you can learn to quote unquote speak their language and present them things that would fit the focus that they are having so that they will interpret what it is that they need to do in a way that makes sense to them. So you have to do a little bit more exploring about how they perceive the idea of your reality, how they're focused in your reality in a certain way, and have the creativity and imagination to create scenarios and simulations that key off of their particular focus so that they will understand what needs to be done.
Okay, I want to talk and share because I'm very much on the spectrum myself, and neurodivergent, and that's why I can think the way I think. I can tell you when I actually sit there and talk to someone else who's on the spectrum and someone else who's actually able to speak the same language, it is a whole thing. It completely and utterly, it's a whole thing with your ability to communicate with others, because communicating with just regular people, it's exhausting. Just it's completely and utterly exhausting to be able to communicate with people. So when people try to get you to be normal, like neurotypicals, it's mentally exhausting and you just don't want to do it.
for them to be supported and thrive in physical reality.
To try to like think like them.
Yes, think like them, see like them, feel like them,
Talk
in
like them.
certain ways, but have the ability to translate between their reality and yours.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Oh, all right. Then we thank you for your interaction, Aveo.
Hi, Bashar. I was wondering about a weird dream that I had where I was woken up in the middle of the night, and in the dream I could hear a voice, but it was kind of far away. And the voice would say something, and I would repeat, and they would say something else, and I would repeat.
This is
And
her
it's
higher
kind of
mind.
coming closer and closer, almost to the point where I could grasp what it was saying. And right before that, I woke.
There's a good chance you probably have ADHD. It's pretty common, especially with the way technology and people's brains have been essentially rewired because of technology. It's normal.
Woke up to a pop or a burst at the end of my bed, and I could feel this pressure wave going through the room from the burst, and it had kind of an electrical energy that was coming from it, and I was wondering, can you tell me anything about what that was?
You're interacting with interdimensional beings, spirit guides, even your own higher mind more
Yeah.
clearly. You're experiencing the shifting from one reality to another. There are many layers of reality to even what you call physical reality, all the way up to what you call the lower astral, non-physical reality. But sometimes when you experience a calling, when you make a connection to a being on another level of reality, a spirit guide, an extraterrestrial, a higher mind, whatever, you will experience that shift electrically. You will experience a surge of energy that you can interpret as electricity. So that is one way you will experience the idea that you're becoming more consciously aware of the shifting that you're already always going through when you shift from one reality to another billions of times per second. You'll get used to it. Good day, good day.
Hello. Nice to talk with you today, Bashar.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
Very briefly, I would like to talk about people who identify as wanderers.
Yes.
You said they're kind of like people like to hop from party to party.
Sort of. They don't necessarily make a strong connection to any particular reality. They dip in, but remain mildly detached in a certain way, energetically speaking. So they don't necessarily have to succumb to all of the belief systems of that particular reality. They can observe, they can experience, but they don't get deeply invested in that reality. They're just sort of gathering information like a honeybee going from flower to flower.
I am one of those people. Like I don't let myself actually adhere to just being in one place. I've always had a million friends. I've always had a million groups that I belong to because I like to collect experiences. Yeah.
Oh, got it. So is this kind of like in their soul blueprint, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. So I also want to say thank you for all of the information and permission slips that you've delivered for about as long as I've been alive. So I've quite enjoyed acting on those.
All right.
And one of them, the cryptic meditation, I enjoy doing. And I kind of wanted to know the way that they go through, people or hybrids go through the 5 levels. They ingest divinorum, and I was wondering, is that because that's necessary to go?
It has an ingredient that does not exist on Earth.
Through the levels, but for a human,
for most, yes.
Yeah,
there is no absolute equivalent for humans on your planet at this time, though there are components of it. The divinorum that is mentioned with regard to the hybrids in the future is altered specifically for their physiology. But the idea is that obviously versions of the concept exist in such.
That's where a lot of herbal medicines like ayahuasca or many other plant-based medicines come from, is the Devanorum.
Teachers as ayahuasca and so on and so forth on your planet at this time.
Right. So ingesting ayahuasca would greatly facilitate that process.
It can. It can be done in other ways as well. But again, please do remember that it's not about necessarily always continuing to use that. It's about knowing that once you have that experience and you are practiced at it, that you can create that vibration.
This is true. You can create the vibration if you want to, but yeah, sometimes it's kind of fun just going to take a trip every once in a while.
Without the teacher.
Absolutely. Thank you for that reminder.
Yes.
So one of the other permission slips that it's been thrilling to work with is the crystal skull. I've taken one and imbued it with the Mitchell Hedges skull, and I do believe I've had something like an out-of-body experience. And I was wondering, I didn't really, at the time, I think, get all of the information. So this is something that may be unraveling or unspooling over time.
Yes, all we can give you is the advice to practice.
Thank you. I will practice.
That's funny. That's the same thing. I would add on to the whole like practice thing. It was an idea that I learned years ago, and it's how I do just about everything these days. I said it to a teacher because I was asking him about timing. How do you know? Yada, yada, yada. And what I said to him was, hey, I'm going to do this till I can get it right. And what he said to me is, no, you practice till you can't get it wrong. So that's the approach I take towards just about everything. I do it till I can't do it wrong.
Yeah, and I also travel with my skull. I call him Sherman. And so I've been taking him around to different portals and weaving that web that you've spoken about.
Why that name?
Sherman?
Yes.
It was something that came to me kind of, I don't know, it entered my brain. And I don't really know any Shermans. And I'm not really sure specifically. If you have any insight, I would appreciate that.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Modesto, California.
Are there things that you enjoyed watching as a child?
I watched a lot of TV and movies.
Was there anything in particular that were your favorites?
As far as movies, I liked comedies.
Specifically, television shows or movies specifically.
Oh, X-Files. Probably cartoons.
Such as?
I liked Disney movies a lot, like Alice in Wonderland. I would watch that one on repeat, Alice in Wonderland.
All right. Then you may use the vibration of Alice in Wonderland in your exploration with the crystal skulls to understand how to step through the looking glass.
I see. Okay.
You can be Alice.
I will be Alice.
All right. The skull can be the caterpillar.
Okay.
What is the question that the caterpillar asks Alice?
Who are you?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, practice.
I will practice.
Anything else?
I think that's all. Thank you so much, Bashar. I appreciate your reflection very much.
You are welcome. Aveo.
Aveo.
I'm going to do one more question, and then I'm going to get off and go grab food because it's about dinner time for me here. So let's do one more question, and I'm going to do a little bit of a channeling with Ethan and let him kind of comment on some stuff, and then I'm going to get off here in a little bit. So.
Hi, Bashar. Blessings to you and your family. I have a question. Wife and I are retiring in Philippines next year, and we'd like to build our house close to a vortex. I'm just wondering if there's any vortexes in Zambales, Philippines. That's just north of Manila. Thank you.
Yes, any major city is usually placed at least near, if not in, a major vortex.
Yes.
Instinctively by
Yes.
humans. That's why they build where they build. That's why they end up where they end up. However, we would suggest that the way things are transitioning, the way vibrations are changing on your planet, that the ones that are most effective are the natural sites around those vortices. So if you're in a more natural area around the main vortex of Manila, then that is more appropriate for you. Good day, good day, good day.
I'm going to stop this right here. So what I'm going to do is this. So I'm gonna go into channeling state for a minute, and I'll let Ethan come through and let him say some stuff. I don't know what he wants to talk about. And I'm gonna get off for today. I'm feeling a little drowsy myself, and I'm ready to just kind of go get some food because I'm a little on the hungry side. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat real quick. But I'm gonna drop in, let him talk for a minute, and then I'm gonna get off because that's a thing. Adam, Zeke, anyone. So, like I said, I'll be doing another one of these to do the second half of the transmission, probably in the next day or so. I gotta work all day tomorrow, but just give me a second. Okay. If you guys would like, I really give this a minute, but like, if you have a question, please put in the chat right now because I'm not gonna be able to look at it once I actually in the state, and then I'm gonna jump off. So. Ooh, have any of you guys played Power World yet? That game's pretty fun. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go in the state and I'll let him talk because I need a little bit of it. It's weird. I do the channeling now, kind of to get a little bit of an energetic pick me up. So, all right. Give me like 2 seconds. The idea that the Bashar has been sharing with you and allowing you to understand from his point of view and his perspective and our way of being, the way our civilization lives, is how and when and why it is important to look at those aspects of yourself. For if you look at the theme of that particular transmission, the answers, the energetic state that was being passed upon to you and the other people watching the transmission that were participating in that experience of the transmission is more of the idea that you need to look at yourself, look at your understandings, your beliefs, and what drives you into continuing on with behavior and who you are and who you decide to be in any given moment, in any situation that might arise in your life. What and why do you keep attracting and creating those experiences in your life with the people that you live with and around? Who do you choose to interact with energetically? What do you choose to accept for yourself and those people in your life? What do you not accept? And why don't you accept it? And why do you accept? These are the main ideas to take away from this portion of a transmission that is incomplete energetically, that will be finished at a later time. For now, this is the message that we choose to leave you and everyone who chooses to watch these transmissions from now on. This is also the message we choose to share with you. And we will always bring through energetically to expand and share with more people. Good day to you. We will speak to you soon. Yeah, I'm going to get off. And I think next week I'm going to have Yosi when I do a stream with him. I think I'm going to have him do like an audience question answer session. So if you forever watches this in the future, come hang out with us on stream and we'll do more channeling stuff and we'll talk and hang out. So you guys have a great day. Good seeing you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff.